Hi, Emma. How are you?
Hi, I'm really good, thanks. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm so excited to speak with you because you give such a nuanced, lived in performance as Maggie. I love the show. I loved your performance as Maggie. But for those that don't know, tell them about everything I know about love and a little about your character, Maggie.
Well, Everything I Know About Love was originally a memoir written by Dolly Alderton that she has used, I would say, as inspiration to create the show. So it's not like you need to have read the book to watch it. It's like slightly different creature, but it mainly focuses on Maggie and Birdy, who've been best friends since they're 11. And then they moved to London with their two friends, Nell and Mara. And it's basically about their friendship and what happens as you're growing up and getting involved in relationships and jobs, and how that main love story between friends kind of starts to, have curveballs thrown at it. And just what happens as you're growing up in your 20s and trying to figure out life.
Yeah. So take me back to the very beginning. I read that when she saw your audition, it felt like kismet, like fate. So what was your experience like?
So I had the first episode came through with audition sides, and I hadn't heard of the book, and I hadn't heard of, I kind of heard of Dolly, but I was like, she must be great because everyone's talking about her. Read the first episode, and I was like, this is actually making me laugh. I can relate to it. It's, you don't always get scripts that are like that. Did a tape, sent that off, and then I got asked to go in to do recall, and then a chemistry read, and then another audition. Like, I went into the room a lot, but it was so nice because that's where I met Bel, that's where I met Dolly for the first time, and it just gave me a chance to go in and kind of, play with the character and go, this is what I would do with her, this is how I see her. And then after about the fourth time, they were like, okay, you've got the job. So
amazing,
which is nice.
Yeah. And then the core of the show, as you were saying, is Maggie and Birdy's relationship. So I read that your chemistry read with Bel, it was really playful, and it was just you two clicked right away. So tell me about that.
It was just so easy because it was a day where they had 3 potential Birdies and 3 potential Maggies, and we were all kind of going in and swapping. It was like speed dating for like which I think was a really clever way to do it. And me and Bel, she was the last person I went in with, and it was just really easy. And there's the scene in the first episode where we were in bed together when we wake up and we're hungover, and we were doing that scene, and she was like, "Can I put my leg on you?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course you can." So I think just that ease and comfortability we had together was just there from the off, and we kind of made each other laugh. And then at the end, we had to just do improvised dancing to Beyonce. And that was so fun as well. We're like, okay, we're going to be fine.
I was going to say some of my favorite scenes are the choreographed dancing.
Right? I mean, you can never have too much dancing.
No. And that there was one morning where you just had to dance all morning. What was that like?
Much fun. I mean, I love dancing. I imagine if you're someone that is like, I'm not too keen on dancing, it will probably be harder work, but I was like, this is literally my dream, and quite fun kind of being in what would be like a London club, but at like 10 a.m. all dressed up, pretending you've drank loads of tequila, and yeah, just having a great time. And I think we were just so lucky with like me and Bel and Alia and Marley, we just clicked straight away. So it was just like going to the club with your mates and having a dance.
So tell me about your favorite moments of working with the ladies, and then on set and then off set too.
So on set, favorite moments. Again, anytime I'm dancing, because it was funny, and I think there's this thing as well where we didn't have we weren't kind of like embarrassed around each other. We couldn't be silly around each other, and it brought us closer together because that's what happens in real friendships. So all of those is one, the scene in episode 6, like the really long scene.
Yes.
Cocktails and playing a game. I kind of don't want to give anything away for people that haven't seen it. That was like a 2-day shoot because it was one scene that Dolly had written, and you kind of get, it's a roller coaster, and you're going to get every single emotion in there, and that was really fun for us to do. And offset, I mean, we just hung out all the time. We were staying in the same apartment block, so we just hang out and go for breakfast, and we were just mates.
That's so nice. You don't really get that on too many sets.
No, I think especially when I haven't been working, for ages, but the work I have done, you definitely know that that's not always the case, and you can't guarantee that that's going to be the case. Yeah. So I think we were just aware how lucky we were, and it just meant that there was less acting required. It's just real.
Yeah. So tell me about collaborating with Dolly. I read that she gave you like a Maggie-like coat for your birthday.
She did. She gave me like an Afghan coat from like a vintage shop, which was amazing. I absolutely adore it. Working with her was just so collaborative and creative, and also very freeing, because I knew that, I wasn't playing Dolly, but I was playing an inspired character from her. So I felt like it was finding that balance between making Maggie her own character and bringing my interpretation to it, but also still kind of paying respect to what Dolly had written in the book. So having her there on set all the time was really, really helpful, because she was just, up for any conversation, any questions I had, just like silly, weird questions. I'm like, can I ask you this? Like, what's your favorite cake? She's like, I'm so glad you asked. So yeah, just a joy, really.
That's so nice. So I read for Pistol that you put so much research into your portrayal. You were so great, by the way. I know I can't talk about that, but you were so brilliant. So I know for this show, I'm imagining the costumes play a large part into your process, into playing her. But tell me about your process. Tell me how about you went into the mindset of her, because so much is conveyed without dialogue in your performance.
I think it was strange because I got the job about 3 weeks before I had to go and start rehearsing for it. So there wasn't much time in terms of prep, but sometimes that's quite good, because it means that you just don't have, there's no time to panic or overthink it. And I obviously read the book, I sat down with Dolly, and I think it was so much more about just like meeting the girls and getting that chemistry and figuring what out that was, and then just thinking about Maggie. And that's where I ended up asking Dolly lots of questions of what is she like around her parents, like what's she like on dates, and just really kind of figuring out the layers of Maggie, because I think that's what hopefully we see is there's a Maggie that everyone else sees, and then you kind of see the Maggie in her head where she's actually got more insecurities and she's not as confident as she comes across, and she's kind of in this dilemma of she loves her best friend and wants to be happy for her but doesn't know what that means. But then it was kind of just really pulling it all apart and figuring out all of those nuances and then trying to bring them all together. So on paper I was like, this is going to be relatively simple, and it was actually the most complex character I've ever played.
I was going to say, she's very complex because so much she doesn't reveal to anyone.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's, it's kind of a privilege for the audience in a way that they get to see that, and hopefully that means you get more understanding of why she's behaving the way she does, because she definitely sometimes like, oh, that was such a bad move, or why did you say that, or what are you doing? So I feel like if we get to see inside her head for a bit, we're with her, and I think it means you can relate to her choices, and whether you agree with them or not, it's just understanding her character.
Yeah. And you've had such a whirlwind year with promoting Pistol. I think you had one night where you promoted both. You had premieres back to back. I don't know how you do it. So tell me about some of your favorite moments over the past year.
I mean, it's such a good question. I mean, just doing the jobs last year were incredible. Being in Manchester, which is where we film the majority of everything I know about love, and get to live in an apartment block with all the girls and just kind of completely being in the world, And then honestly, I kind of forgot at the time that months later I was going to have to talk about it. But it was so nice because it feels like it was sad the job ending in a way that we just had the best time, and
Yeah.
but then being able to get back together again and promote it and talk about it means you get to relive it. So they're kind of like two parts of the job, but the premiere was so much fun. Still getting dressed up and seeing it all together and hearing how an audience reacts to it as well. So like, is it funny? Are we funny? And then you hear people like, okay, fine.
So what was your reaction to the show? I'm curious.
My reaction?
Yeah, what was it like watching it? Do you watch your own work?
Yeah, I really wanted to see this. I watched most of my own work, normally because I also want to see what everyone else was doing, and I want to see how the art direction came off. And we've had amazing DOPs and stuff. I want to see how that looks. And also, I find when I'm working, you're working so quickly, I forget a lot of things. So I'm watching, I'm like, oh yeah, there's that scene. But it was so nice because me and the other girls and Dolly went into a room and just watched all 7 episodes back to back, which was really intense.
Yeah.
But just so wonderful and very emotional. And we just all came out of it being like, we are so proud of what we've made. No matter what anyone thinks about it, like, we've put our heart and souls into this. We had a fantastic time, and I think that's all we could have done.
Yeah. Well, you did. You created something so special that I think so many people are going to relate to, and so many people are going to see themselves in, which is rare.
Yeah, and I think I don't know, for me as an actor, that's what I want to do, is to be able to connect with anyone that's watching it. You can have anyone in, like, a different country, or a completely different type of person, but I think what Dolly's very clever at doing is writing very human, universal emotions.
Yep.
So hopefully anyone can kind of, like you said, see parts of themselves in a character, or certain friendship dynamics. Like, I have had a friendship like that, or a relationship like that, and it's relatable. You feel connected.
Yeah. So you've had some amazing scene partners, amazing collaborators in the acting world, in the fashion world. Who would you like to work with again, and who would you still like to work with? Who's some like dream collaborators?
God, that's such a big question. I mean, if I got to go back and do like a second series of Everything I Know About Love, like, I think, well, I can't speak for everyone, but I think we'd all just love to go and be in a room together again, like dancing and having fun, and she was to work with Dolly would be incredible. Danny Boyle, obviously, on Pistol. Happily work with him again if he picked up the phone. Who would I like to work with? I really love Martin McDonagh. I think I really enjoy his films. Who else? Phoebe Waller-Bridge, incredible writer. The characters that she creates are just an absolute dream. But also, anyone that comes my way, really. Like, if they're doing something interesting, I'm so open to what's going to happen.
Yeah. And finally, what have you been watching lately?
What have I been watching? I've been so busy with press that I wasn't really watching much. I mean, I'm a massive Succession fan, obviously. One of the best shows ever. What else have I been watching? Oh, I started watching Only Murders in the Building, which is like one of the funnest, most heartwarming shows. I wasn't sure about it when I first put it on, and I was like, I'm in. It's funny, it's lovely, it makes you feel good. So yeah, I really enjoyed watching that.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for the art that you bring into the world, Emma. I really appreciate it. Thank you for this performance. Thank you for this project. Thank you for taking the time. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, Leah. Take care.